Again, Gills fans, welcome back to Gills in Blood TV. It is the return today of Gills and the Blood Chats 2, and he needs no introduction. Cody McDonald, Gills goal scoring legend, modern day hero, has agreed to come on the channel and have a chat. Appreciate you coming on, taking the time out of your life, Cody. So, going to have a little look back at your career in general.
Yep.
And then obviously the main part of the interview is going to be talking about your time at Gills.
No worries.
And then a little bit about Edgefleet as well, obviously, because that's where you are at the moment, back in Kent. Obviously going right back to the beginning, you rose up quite quickly through the football pyramid. I was doing some research last night on a bit of Wikipedia, I don't know how true this is, but basically between, I think it was October or November 2008 to February 2009, you effectively played for 4 clubs.
Yeah.
So you went, if I'm correct, I've got this written down, you went from Witham Town to Malden. I think you only played about 2 games for them.
Yeah, did you?
Then you went to Dartford for about a month and scored loads. And then Norwich took you on and you joined them in February in the Championship.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, as a 22, I was about 22 at the time. 22 at the time. So, I mean, we see youngsters do well and get big moves these days, but was it a surprise to you at that time to go from, and obviously in that amount of clubs in that quick space of time as well?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was crazy because, like you say, I was playing at Witham Town, my hometown, where I still live now, and I went to Malden and there was a few issues money-wise. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't earning a lot of money. It was only part-time, £50 a week or something like that. And they had money issues and they couldn't pay us, so I ended up leaving. And to be honest, I didn't really have any plans to do anything after that. I wasn't in a rush to get back into football. And
so
then,
it could have been a case that the Cody McDonald story might have stopped right there.
Yeah, it could have, but my wife now, wasn't at the time, got pregnant with twins.
Right.
So the extra money could have come in handy. So I got a call from Dartford, said like, would you like to come and train? Remember I went on the Thursday night, they signed me straight after training, played on the Saturday, scored, they signed me to a longer contract.
Right.
And then, I think that was, like you say, November time. I think I played 17 games for them and then I signed for
Well, you scored about 20 goals.
I think it was 19 in 17 for Dartford, and then on the last day of the January transfer window, signed for Norwich. So it's just, my life just changed so quick.
So what level were Dartford at the time?
They were in the conference, Ryman Prem.
So
I think it was
lower than they are now.
Sixth division.
And then you jumped straight to the Championship.
It's a big jump part-time to full-time as well.
Yeah, well that was the biggest thing that I had to adjust to when I first signed there. Brian Gunn was superb with me, he sort of eased me into it. He knew that it would take an impact on my body, training every day, which I wasn't used to. I was scaffolding, so my body was taking a bit more of a battering anyway, but they sort of eased me in. It took me 2 or 3 weeks before I started getting involved with the first team, and then from there it just escalated, just mental really quick.
Because I think I read your debut was a glamour tie against Great Yarmouth or something.
Yeah, I think it was at Carrow Road, so it was lovely because I was playing at Carrow Road. I've obviously seen it as a kid. Yeah, there weren't a lot of people there. I think I played, scored, but at the time it was still, I was playing for Norwich. I didn't care who was it.
Was it?
Who was in front of it? It was at Carrow Road, and it was just I was just basically living every kid's dream. So, and then I think it was 2 or 3 weeks after that when I started getting in the squad, and then it was a couple of games after that when I actually got my first game.
Stocky's on camera now, and I think he wanted to just mention something about you winning goal for one game.
I did, yeah. We played against Sunderland. That was in the League One season the year after, in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And keeper got injured, defender got sent off, was down to 9 men. And everyone just looked at each other and I went, I'll do it. I just thought.
Did they choose you for your height?
Yeah. I used it though, didn't I?
Did you concede?
I didn't, no. I covered some couple of catches through crosses. Yeah, but no, honestly, it was live on Sky as well. And at the time when I put the gloves on, I thought, what have I done here? Still like 15 minutes left, and I know the pressures that keepers are under. Slightest little mistake. I wasn't expected to do well, but.
Well, there's been other strikers recently that have gone in goal and done worse than you. And
Kane
a couple of years ago, he wrote he lit one through his legs.
Yeah, I know.
Take that clean sheet. So goalie and striker. Yeah.
A lot of people mention that to me even today. To be fair, they go, "Oh yeah, I remember when you was at Norwich and you winning goals." So that's something to remember me by. Yeah.
Just obviously we've spoken about Norwich and you was at Coventry for a while as well.
Yeah.
Again, did a little bit of research. what I could find, you only scored 13 goals for Norwich and Coventry combined. Do you think there's any reason why it just didn't really work out either of them clubs? Do you think maybe Norwich was a little bit too soon, or was there other factors? Didn't get a chance or whatever?
Norwich, I wouldn't say was too soon, because when I actually signed there, was in the Championship, and I think I scored 2 in the little spell that I had in the Championship.
Yeah.
And it was a nice good little spell that I had in the Championship, but then Brian Gunn got sacked, Paul Lambert come in.
Yeah.
And that was a big learning curve for me, because I'd never been involved with anything like that. I mean, Brian Gunn was superb.
I was just saying, 2 good managers, and since Gunny was a legend at Norwich, when he was a keeper, and then Paul Lambert's obviously won the Champions League, and he's managed in the Premiership now.
Yeah, it was 2 obviously coming from where I'd been, being around Brian Gunn, being my manager, and he'd come to watch me a couple of times at Dartford because he was the scout at the time.
Right.
And then I think it was Glenn Roeder got the sack. So Brian Gunn got the job, and then he brought me in, and he was superb for me. And I think it was the second game into the League One season he got the sack.
That's what
that's the next question.
Yeah, that was like a big learning curve for me, because like I said, I haven't been around anything like that, with a dressing room where you've had to go through the manager coming in and telling you, and he's a Norwich man through and through, and he was getting upset, and it was horrible to see, knowing how good he'd been to me. But you've got to knuckle down, get your head down, and it gives everyone. I was in the team, I was starting every week under Brian Gunn, and it was all hunky-dory sort of thing. So Paul Lambert come in, things changed a little bit, but it was still all fresh to me. We had the League One season. I don't think I started many games, but if ever we made subs, I was always the one to come on. I think I probably still played 30 or 40 odd games. Yeah, I was soul sharp. I was coming on and scoring a couple here and there. I scored a couple of important goals that season, to be fair, but I had Grant Holt, Wes Houlihan and Chris Martin playing in front of me, and they all scored 20 plus goals that season.
So it's hard to get
I mean,
young and inexperienced.
You can't even go and knock on the manager's door and say, "Well, I play him," and then free it.
Well, you've had to you've got that excuse.
So and then it was the season after that when I come on loan to Gillingham for the season.
Yeah, just that, because you've just spoken about Brian Gunn, so you almost answered the question. But one of your goals for Norwich was in that opening day, 2009-10. 7-1 at home at Colchester. And then Gunny went the game after.
It was crazy, because we obviously lost 7-1. I think we was probably going into the season's favourites.
I was going to say, so how did you recover as a squad? Because then you eventually went on and won the title.
Yeah, well, like I say, it was all mental, because to be fair to Brian Gunn, we lost 7-1 at home. We had Yeovil away on the Tuesday night in the Carling Cup, because they play them really quick, didn't they? Yeah. And he completely changed the team. I think he probably made 9-10 changes, really stamped his authority, said that wasn't good enough, and we went and won 4-0.
Right.
Went away to Yeovil, they were in League One at the time as well, won 4-0, and he got sacked the next morning. It was crazy. So, like I say, that was a harsh one to take, because he was a good man.
And he'd given me a chance.
He'd given me my chance, yeah, and it was horrible to see the way that he was after getting the sack. But like I say, it's part of the game, unfortunately. You see the good and the bad. Like I say, we recovered really well after that.
Won the title, so all's well that ends well, and I suppose if everyone looks back in hindsight, so that was probably the correct decision to get rid of him.
Yeah, you can say that. I think a lot of people, even fans at the time, maybe felt it's a bit harsh. He stamped his authority down, he's got to change the team.
Especially as you won the next game.
Got a reaction. But I think Paul Lambert come in, and I think we only probably lost 2 or 3 games max for the rest of the season.
So I suppose
we went on an unbelievable run.
It was.
I think actually we all the lads were buzzing, obviously, because we got promoted 6 weeks before the end of the season, and we weren't training. We was just turning up for games, and everyone was having a bit of a jolly up, and a lot of the experienced lads wouldn't have been used to that. So it was a great season for us.
So you joined us on loan for the 2010-2011 season as part of that Sydney Jackson deal.
Yeah.
We missed out on the Ploughs and Arrow that season.
Goal difference, I think, wasn't it?
I think it was. Away at Chesterfield on the day. They won the league, didn't they?
Yeah.
68 points we ended that one, I think. We missed out by about 12 goals.
Yeah, because we went into the game knowing that a point would be enough. I think it was. We knew that they needed to win the league, so it's going to be a tough game. But I think I equalised, made it 1-1. Probably 65 minutes-ish, I don't know, it was quite late-ish, and they went up the other end and scored 2 pretty sharpish goals and put it to bed really. But overall, it was a great season for me personally. 25 goals. Yeah, I mean,
it was in 2025. What you
yeah,
just said.
25. It was just one of them seasons, you know, where just everything goes for you. I mean, I didn't have no injuries. I think I played every game, not even no little niggles or anything, and everything I seemed to hit just went in. And in fact, looking back on it, I probably could have scored a few more. But it was a great season for me. But it would have been topped off if we'd have got in the playoffs.
So how satisfying was it then to return for 7 games, 2012-13 under?
Well, that was really nice because
it was almost like right in the wrong, so to speak.
Yeah, it was.
To win the title, even if it was for a short period of time.
Yeah, I think I come for 7 games. Was it? I scored 4 goals, maybe.
Yeah, he was unbeaten in him.
Unbeaten, yeah, and I think I scored a couple.
It was 2 or 3 wins as well.
Yeah, I mean, we won 1-0 away at Bradford. I remember. I come on against York at home and scored the equaliser, I think.
Scored against Northampton.
With
the wins. Yeah.
Little tapping, but they didn't give me it because Scally didn't want to pay my goal bonus. So that was all fun and games, but no, it was it was great. It was I was having a bit of a tough time at Coventry, being away from my family. Well, me and my wife and the 3 kids were away from our family, and we hadn't really been used to that. It was coming up to 2 years, and it was just a case of I need to get back home now. And Mr. Scally called me and said, "Would you come on loan for till it was due for the end of the season?"
Because you got recalled, didn't it?
Yeah, they
So
called me
about a month or so.
Yeah, about a month or so. Yeah, I think I've done 4 or 5 weeks, and I went back for 4 or 5 weeks to Coventry because I think one of the lads got injured. But yeah, it was a great little spell, and it probably set me up to get my permanent move in the summer because Martin Allen obviously got a little sniff of what I can do, and yeah, he was straight on the phone to me in the summer, so it was good.
Stocky was wondering, as part of that, did you get anything to like as a commemorate? Did you get a medal or did you?
I didn't. No, I didn't. To be fair to the club, they all went away. They celebrated. They invited me. I couldn't go because we was still at Coventry, so I couldn't go on the celebrations and that. The lads all went away. Mr. Scally and Martin Allen phoned me to go, and I couldn't go. And down to the trophy, the medals, Nels even to this day, well, a few months ago, was still trying to get me one, but the league looked into it and they said I didn't play in that. I think you got to play 10. Yeah, 10.
Like Gills fans, if you're watching, we'll have a whip round. We'll get one
Yeah,
Premier League winners medal.
I need another one.
Right, obviously, then you signed on a permanent deal, summer of 2013.
Yep.
There's probably 2 strikers that you're synonymous to playing alongside during your time at the club.
Yeah.
Adebayo, the B-stack in Fenlon, and obviously your mate here now,
Yeah.
Danny Kidwell. Did you have any preference of the 2, or did they both have sort of attributes that
I mean,
your style of
Yeah,
play and your
yeah,
goal? We're not sitting saying you go, oh yeah, I like him more than him.
Nah,
anything
nah,
like
of
that.
course.
Obviously,
I mean,
both have. Well, you can if you want.
No, in football you come across players where you think you'll suit playing with and it just don't click. It's just some reason things just don't work, you don't work well together. And I just think with them 2, I always knew if the ball was going into them it would stick. If it was going into their chest or whatever, I'd get round the front of them. If it was up around the head,
a big chest to it as well.
I mean, that first season that I had with Bale, I think quite a few of the goals, I'd win the flick-ons, flick it into him, he'd look it over his head and I'd run on. Yeah, and that's just, we just knew, and any time the ball went into his chest in the box, I knew I had to get round the front of him. And same with Keds, even now, the other day, we hadn't played together for probably 4 years.
Yeah, he left January 2015, I think, didn't he? Just after the Gang of Fortune.
Yeah, and actually, in fact, at Gillingham, for some reason, we didn't actually play together that much. We always seemed to do all right together, but for one reason or another, we never actually really started a lot of games. Yeah, but yeah, the other day I come on against Barnet, and I think he set me up 2 or 3 times. I was only on for half hour. I should have scored 5 and didn't score.
So he was moaning at you.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
it's his bonus.
Yeah. So, and then we started together last week against Braintree, and yeah, just straight away I set him up after a couple of minutes.
They got a lot of love on Twitter.
Did it? Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah, it was superb. You know, it was really fitting at the end that he set me up again, and it just made the day perfect, really.
It's interesting what you just said, just going back to that thing you said, that some strikers you think it should work and others you don't think it should, and sometimes it ends up being the other way around, because we remember us three when we brought in John Marquis at the end of that 2014-15 or no, and we was all saying, and we looked at his goal scoring record like you do, because we can only look at stats on the internet and stuff like that, and we thought, oh, he's not done a lot here. And we all said, oh, they look too similar. But we thought then you two played really well together, because we went on that run after they'd come in. I think there was a couple of games where we lost under the Gang of Four. I think it was Port Vale and Crewe. And then after that, I think he scored at home at Coventry, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And we just said, your partnership played a big part in getting us away from the bottom four that season. We ended up quite comfortable in the end when Justin took over, didn't we?
Yeah, he was a workhorse, he was, and he still is now. I watch him play now, he just don't stop
He's
running.
different class.
Yeah, I see. He scored, didn't he?
Yeah.
Fair play, he didn't celebrate.
Didn't have to be that good, did he?
He wasn't very good.
We said that, we were rubbish.
But
But it is what it is. But no, he's doing really well where he's starting. I mean, they're chasing down the playoffs in League One now. So
Yeah, they are.
Step up from League Two to League One. He's doing it on a consistent basis.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Right, 2015-16.
Yeah.
Justin Edinburgh's full season in charge.
Yeah.
We were really good for probably 2/3 of that.
Yeah.
Top at Christmas. Do you look back now and think, and Boz has always got quite a lot to say on this one. Is there any point of that season where you just think this has gone wrong? Or do you look back now, sorry, not at the time so much, but do you look back now and think that was the point where it all started to unravel? Because I think even until end of March, beginning of April, we were still in the top six.
Yeah.
We ended up finishing 9th and we were top at Christmas.
Yeah. It was, I don't know if we peaked too early maybe, I don't know. You know, usually you always get this team that makes a late little charge. I think sometimes that's the way to do it. Although you can't risk it.
That season,
You can't risk doing that. I mean, we're having a little go in now. Obviously, we was down a little bit, and now we're making a bit of a charge. But you can never risk doing it that way. But yeah, we just.
You missed loads of that season, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I broke
your foot.
I broke my 5th metatarsal at Millwall just before Christmas. I think I missed 3 months. I got the last 6 weeks or so.
Well, you come back and scored that absolute humdinger against Shrewsbury.
The free kick, yeah.
And then we still ended up losing. I think they had 3 shots that day. I remember.
Did we lose?
We lost 3
That's a
shots.
really
They took 2
impressive
shots.
match.
They scored 3 worldies, I think. They had an overhead kick.
Yeah.
And 2 that were deflected or something, and I think we scored 2 good goals. I think we hit the bar, the post, and it just didn't go in yet. And I think that was the day we come out of the ground and I said, we ain't going to get in the playoffs.
Yeah,
There was
you
just a massive
sort of get that feeling, didn't you? And I mean,
way.
when you go into the last game needing to win and other results to go your way, it's a tough task.
Shortly after, didn't we? You scored.
Did we lose? Did we? Or did we?
I thought you scored against Liverpool.
I scored ahead of.
They scored right at the end again.
Yeah, they won.
lost 2-1.
They get promoted, didn't they? They won the
Yeah,
title.
yeah.
I think they won the title that day. Yeah. I remember we was a little bit down in the change rooms, and they were obviously celebrating in that. But
yeah, I think we had to beat Millwall and hope that about 2 or 3 other teams dropped points on the last day, didn't we? And I think we ended up losing 2-1.
We lost 2-1, yeah.
Brendan Dickinson going penalty right at the end.
Last minute, yeah. That probably cost him his time at Gillingham, to be fair.
He got released because he's gone
Yeah.
Colchester, stepped back down into the division. He's had a bad injury, unfortunately, but he's done really well since.
I thought, in general, he had a decent season because he was
he's
known
made
to be a less.
He was left back, he came as a striker.
So I thought he filled in quite well there, but unfortunately.
He's doing well further forward at Colchester.
Very well.
What about a Wigan game?
I was injured for that. Yeah. What happened?
That was the 2-0 up.
We lost 3-2 on
Yeah,
Sky. I remember sitting down and watching that one actually. Yeah, that's like you say, it's just one of them, and it happens as a keeper. But overall,
We've said not just because of the injury, not to the injury, the error that Nels made, and he didn't make many that season.
No.
But the fact that after that we then made a habit of dropping points after
He never
the
seemed to get back
and
consistent.
I think Wigan were in the very early stages of what ended up being like a 19-game unbeaten run. Wigan have killed that dead then. I think we'd have gone 6 points clear or something.
I've been adamant ever since we've won the league.
These has really gone up definitely if we beat them well.
Yeah, maybe you're
Results
right.
are just going our way.
That's the fine lines in football at the end of the day, innit? It's just same as Liverpool Man City last week. That ball that didn't quite go over the line. If it goes over the line,
Different stories.
that's just it's such fine lines in football. But you learn from things and you just got to move on. It's hard to take as players, fans, and at the time. But
generally since then we've gone downhill slightly.
We definitely
just
think
got
it's
stagnant.
it's not been great since.
So moving on to 2016-17, that was the summer Justin was in. We spent a lot of money on players like Jet, Konchesky, O'Hara. We finished 9th the season before. Can you put your finger on Why
Wacky
didn't
Lee Ryan as well, when there was all that
Yeah.
summer, I think.
Yeah.
Why didn't quite work out that season? Because there's a lot of. We started well.
Yeah.
Double against Southend, didn't we?
That's it, yeah, we-
Jacko got a couple, I think.
Yeah, we beat Southend twice, didn't we, in 2
Yeah,
games early doors?
the league and the cup.
Yeah,
I think Phil Brown came out after the league game, didn't he? And said that
they're going to
he
be.
said if Jet stays fit, he'll score 30 goals and
he did
Gills win the
actually.
league.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I don't know really. Like I say, we started really well. We had some quality players in there, but sometimes teams just don't gel, and I think that was probably one of them. That was probably one of the.
It was just nothing turned out to us. It just, like, from the outside looking in again, it just looked. Unfortunately, now looking back, it was just a lot of names.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
like you said, it never really.
Yeah, and
clicked
you
as a
just. I
team.
think people just expect all these names to just click, and for some reason or
Like if
another.
you've got that computer game kind of
That's
thing.
what I say. Yeah, there's too many fans that, like, not saying youngsters, but a lot of people, they think, oh, like, you can just put loads of people up front. It's not FIFA.
Yeah,
it's not.
no,
It's
it's
got,
not.
people have got to work
No,
hard.
it's
It's got to
not.
have the right characters and that type of thing.
And it's hard, you lose, like, especially at that level, League One, you lose 2 or 3 games in a row, and the pressure and everything, it's hard to combat, sort of thing. You sort of get in a bit of a rut, and it's hard to change it back. Even though you've got all these experienced lads in the changing room, and you think, like, you're geeing everyone up, and you're getting everyone going, and you're going out, and you're buzzing, and then you can see the sloppy goal, and you can't help it, but just mentally, it's just straight away, it's like, oh, it's going to happen again.
That's
It's
interesting
going to
what you
happen
said, because
again.
we
Here
spoke
we
with
go.
Max Amar at the end of
Yeah.
that season, about a week after Northampton, and he said, you don't understand how hard it is if you're struggling in games and you're losing, or you're digging in and trying to hold on. He said, you suddenly feel really tired, you
Yeah.
let the ball out as a defender, and it
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
straight back, and it feels like it's
Yeah.
not digging strikers out. He's saying if it don't stick, and then you're immediately under pressure
Yeah, of
again.
course.
And then trouble is, strikers, I always say, play better on instinct, and
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
becomes a struggle if you start thinking about it too
Yeah.
much. But
I've
it
always,
just seemed inconceivable that we ended up staying up on the final day with that team.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I've got slightly going off that. I've always prided myself on, I know I'm not going to play well every week. I know I'm not going to score every week,
Of
because
course.
you can give 100%.
Yeah.
You can run around.
That's it, maybe.
That's if I was a manager and my players worked hard every week, like I say, they're not going to play well every week, they're not going to win every week, but if there's no excuses for not.
We say that because, no disrespect, but if you was being 9 out of 10 every week and you were scoring every week, you would be playing in League One.
Well, yeah, of course.
There was-
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the issue with that squad, there was a few people that weren't willing to
Yeah,
put the effort
maybe,
in.
yeah,
There's
maybe.
one that obviously you probably know who we might ask about, who got a lot of stick, and it was Jet, who had all the ability in the world. I mean, Shrewsbury away, when we were 2-0 down, and
Yeah.
he snapped one in from a
Honestly,
35, 40 yards. The one winner at home to Northampton
Yeah.
in the last minute.
Yeah.
But then there was other games where he just looked strolling around like he
Yeah,
was.
it's
What
hard
did you make
because-
of him as an individual?
As a person, brilliant. He was
Yeah.
great for the dressing room. His ability was just up there with the best I've played with, and I played with some good players,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, like I say, the work rate thing. We always had GPSs and that, and we always checked them, and they were always fine with him. So it might just be something that you see from the outside.
Must be set up people's demeanour.
Yeah, I mean,
course, yeah.
when I watch games when I'm injured or if I'm on the bench, I see a completely different game to what you do at the time when you're
involved in
playing. And it's hard, like sometimes someone will say something to you and you're like, no, that ain't right, no, I've definitely done this, but then you watch it back and you're like, Jesus, yeah, no, you're right. So maybe from the outside it might look like that, but I know from the inside, the manager and the players, no one felt that, definitely not.
Can you tell us why he left early?
Pennant.
He decided
Yeah,
to
Amy
move him back to
just
QPR.
felt that he wasn't the right man for the squad, and that's what he was paid to do, and he made that decision.
Because obviously at the time, us as fans, again, it goes back to that from the outside in, looking in, we got rid of him and he was our top scorer at the time.
Yeah.
I think. He had
Yeah, we
10
still
or
played
11
him.
goals.
Yeah, like you say, from the
Ironically, we had
outside.
to pay him to the playoff final.
Yeah.
And then we brought in Josh Parker, who, to be fair, has done all right since
Yeah,
he's been
yeah,
there. He scored
yeah.
some big goals.
Yeah.
And the lad Joe Quigley, who unfortunately his career seems to have swiftly dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
But, so at the time, we're thinking, hang on, we've got a big lad in from Championship on loan, and we've gone and bought a fella who's most recently been on Come Dine with me,
Yeah.
hasn't played for a year, and a fella that's injured.
No, yeah, like you say, from the outside it probably didn't look great, but the manager felt that was the right decision to make, and all right, we only just done it, but we did stay up, so.
Well, that's what he was brought in to do, wasn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, nearly the talk come out about the playoffs when he first came in, but what manager's not going to come in and say,
Yeah,
oh, we're just going to battle to stay?
You've got to be positive at the end
Yeah,
of the
of
day.
course,
If you
yeah,
don't set your...
Well, I spoke to Wadey a couple of times, like I said, we tried to get an interview with him, and I don't think like you said about players, you could ever fault Andy. He was always trying hard, and he was always trying to do the right thing by the football club.
Definitely.
And we've said hundreds of times it would have been a great story, returning ex-playoff winning captain or whatever had come in and got us up the table.
Would have been perfect, wouldn't it?
But like you said, football's not like that, and he just looked out of his depth from where we were.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see that season. I was obviously at Wimbledon and that, but the time when I was there, he come in and he did make a bit of a difference. So, I mean, and we did stay up. So
he done his job.
You
You
can't
I think he was battling a lot of stuff that he probably will sort of out in a few years.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Just in regards to quickly, I thought that pre-season you two looked as if it would be quite a good partnership, and especially your more favoured strikers like players like Bayo and Kedwell. But it didn't seem to quite work out. I know he got injured.
Done his knee ligament.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, I can't remember how many games I actually played with him. I don't know if you know, but yeah, I don't think I played overly many with him. But again, he was a good lad. Obviously, he's got ability. He was at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
We got who was the other one? Harry as well. He's doing well. I see them two the other day at Winter Wonderland actually. Joe Quigley and Harry.
Yeah, they're all best mates.
Yeah, good lads. Yeah, real good lads, and like I say, it probably didn't work out for him in the end. But
we said about Cargill when he went to McDonald, we said, "What can we better look at?"
I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was a great
player. He's not many left-footed centre halves that you can get who cover full back as well.
And he was comfortable on the ball.
He'd
drive out, centre back. He'd drive out. He was really good on the ball. Actually, when I went to Wimbledon last season, we was looking for a centre half, and I mentioned him.
Trying to get him in,
but he'd already gone somewhere else. But they tried to get him in there.
I think he went up to Scotland for a while.
Scotland, I think maybe is he still there?
No, he's at MK Dons.
Oh, is it MK Dons?
He went to MK Dons in the summer. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and they're obviously doing well.
League too. Yeah, he's doing well there. He's getting games, I suppose. So that's the main thing.
You said about Pennock making a little bit of a difference. Your final 2 goals for us at home to Bristol Rovers effectively kept us up.
Yeah. We missed that game, didn't we? We were in Germany.
Because then someone stacked on that weekend, so we hadn't had a lot to cheer about, and then the one.
But we went to Charlton Easter Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And we got battered.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? That was a crazy game because we
had loads of good ball that day. We said we played all right. Defensively, it was shocking.
Yeah, I remember I had a couple of decent chances. I think
we think you should have had a penalty. First half, you got booked for diving.
Yeah, I did get.
Who's that referee?
I did dive.
No, but
I say I dived. I didn't. I
made the most of it.
Well, I actually thought the keeper was going to clean me out, so I've actually gone with it a little bit, but he didn't. So, but to be fair, I got up and I said, look, it's not a penalty, and it had already. They tried to say that I cheated, but I wasn't. I thought that I was going to get taken out, but I didn't. But yeah, I should have scored a couple more of them. I remember I had a couple of. Not very often I do it. It was a couple of air shots. I went round the keeper once, I think, went to hit it and then just completely missed the ball. It's like, you just know it's going to be one of them days when that starts happening. But yeah, that was a crazy game. But going back to the Bristol Rovers game, that was actually my boys. They always go on YouTube and that, and they went, Dad, look at this. And they brought the iPad in, and it was that game, the highlights of it the other day. And I don't generally dwell on things that have happened, but I looked and I was like, oh, that was a great day. That was
2 proper finishes and all that.
Yeah, it was nice because
we was watching it in I was dressed in
a stadium.
We was walking around Brucey at Dortmund, trying to explain to some poor German fella and justify spending £400 on a season ticket to watch League One football. And he was going, ours is €110. And we was like, and he was going, Gillingham Premiership. We were like, no. Just like, no, you don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, he was trying to constantly Twitter. The signal was awful, wasn't it? And there's him,
constantly
middle of this poor bird trying to do the talk, tell us what's going on. And he's going, yes! Back in the stadium shouting out because we've got 2-1 up.
Yeah, they were latest goals, weren't they? 88 and 90%. But it's funny because one of my dad's friends had come to the game and he put a bet on me to score at any time and us to win 3-1. No, win 2-1 and me to score at any time. And I'd scored to make it 2-1. He's gone outside phoning everyone. He's scored. I've won X amount. And he's heard the crowd go again. He's come back in to see it, but he didn't know it was me until a little bit. He was like, "Oh, you scored." And I was like, he gives me a bit of stick now. But
Does it cost him a lot?
I don't know. I think
it cost you a lot.
It didn't cost me a lot. It cost him a few quid. I think. No, I think he put quite a bit on it. And you get decent odds for things like that, didn't you? So.
There was one on Twitter Sunday, wasn't it? The FA Cup game. It was going around on Twitter. Mitrovic. Some lad had 2-2, I think, and Mitrovic to score a penalty, and they ended up losing 2-1 and he missed the penalty. So the kid tweeted and tagged him in it and said, "You cost me 900 quid." And someone replied and said, no, Mitrovic replied and said, oh, no worries.
Yeah, no
and
worries.
someone replied and said, no, he thinks you've lost 900 quid. And Mitrovic just replied, and yeah, I know, and that was it. I just didn't give a
I did see
toss
bits
at
of
all.
that yesterday, but yeah, that's crazy. £900 for him was nothing, is it?
Exactly. So going back to that last season, obviously Northampton final day.
Yeah.
It weren't fun as a fan, I'm not going to lie. I was in bits at the end.
No,
I was
I bet.
crying doing a match day live that we'd stayed up. We had to wait for ages. How was it from a player's point of view? I mean, was it so bad because you were playing? I imagine sitting on the touchline.
Yeah, I mean, it
you
must
won the penalty early doors.
Yeah,
and then Josh
yeah.
had it saved.
And I think that day we actually played all right, and all didn't we? We should have won really. I think we obviously had the penalty. We had a couple of other
bits
yeah,
second
we
half
did,
as
yeah.
well.
But when you're playing in the game, the longer the game goes on, you're thinking, oh, we need to score, and I remember the second half just went like that.
I think for us though, we were at 5 minutes from the end, and we were still 0-0, and Nils was being told to hold on to it. As if it looked like as if a point was enough. And then I don't know if you remember us, we all went up in the away end because we thought Fleetwood had scored. Because someone was watching on a betting app, and then it got disallowed. And then there was an injury, and we had to spend 6 or 7 minutes. You lot all stuck on a pitch, and us in the stand waiting for Fleetwood Portvale to come through and pray Portvale to score.
The second half just went like that, but that 3 or 4
Kind of
minutes.
went quick for you.
Well, it's weird because you're obviously thinking, oh, we'll still get one here. We're still getting a few chances in that, and then the whistle goes, and you're thinking, oh shit, have we blown it here?
Yeah.
And then the 3 or 4 minutes that it took that they had injury time, that we were all standing around, felt forever, and you're thinking, oh come on, hurry up, and then yeah, thankfully it all went our way. So it was good celebrations in the end. But
I was going to say, is there just a massive relief after that?
yeah, I
long
think so.
hard season to know that
No
you-
one wants a relegation on your CV, and I definitely don't want Gillingham to get relegated because they're quite close to my heart. So, and I'm sure a lot of the lads felt like that as well. But yeah, it's great relief because you want to be playing at the highest level you can. So
yeah. Just moving on to one of your ex-teammates, we've asked a few of the people we've interviewed about him, Bradley Lack.
yeah,
He's obviously gone on to absolute stardom.
Yeah.
He's a Premiership player this month, or if not in the summer, I think. And
yeah. I
England
think deservedly so as well. I mean, he.
Could you see early on he was going to be that?
Oh yeah, you could see the ability.
Because you'd have played with him for that small period of the
That's
championship winning season, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
For like them 7 games.
Yeah.
And obviously you became regular team.
Yeah, I mean, he was involved in that, but he was still a kid,
Yeah.
and you're like, you look at some players and you think he's got ability, just see how it all pans out, because you don't want to put too much pressure on him and go, oh, like, you're this and you're that and you're but you could just tell he had something, and a lot of kids his age do have that, and they just fade away, and for one reason or another they're not dedicated enough, or they live this lifestyle that they think that they are and they don't. But to be fair to him, he's kept his feet on the ground, and he's
proper knuckled down as well.
yeah. I mean, there's been stories that have gone out
that's
about
what I mean.
him,
I think
about him
they
doing
were
X.
worried that he was
yeah.
going that way, but
Yeah,
he's
but
proper
no, I
knuckled
think
down.
he's probably learned from them, and look at him now. Who are we to tell him if he's a good
exactly.
player or not? He's absolutely flying, and if he gets that move to the Premier League this month or at the end of the season, then I don't think anyone would begrudge that.
It's credit to the Gills youth system as well in a way that produced a player like that.
Yeah, I mean, if he moves as well, I'm guessing that Gillingham have probably got a sell on. Yeah, so I mean, some of the feeds I'm hearing, I'm sure Gillingham will come out of it doing well. If it's usually a 20%, I think, is it? Or
That's the rumour.
that's the rumour. So that's what it generally is. So
I'm
yeah.
not sure whether that's for the money they pay Blackburn or whether it's 20% of the profit, but then we only sold him for 750, so it's still going to be
Still going to be mega money.
a nice decent sum, I suppose.
But it'll be good for all parties, wouldn't it? Gillingham, I suppose Blackburn would have obviously done great business if they brought him for 750 and he goes for, the last figure I heard was 20 mil. So.
I mean, you said he'll come out of that championship for ridiculous amounts of money, so.
Yeah, and he deserves it, I think. He's gone there in the League One season, he's absolutely tore it up. Gone up to the Championship, more question marks about him. Yeah, can he do it in the Championship?
100%.
And he's done it again, and I think he's definitely one of them players that I think the higher he goes, I think it will suit him.
Because he's better players.
He's
so he
playing with
just
better players, he's comfortable on the ball. You know, in League One, sometimes you don't get that time on the ball, like you've got people up your arse and you're doing this and doing it. Sometimes in the Championship, you do get a little bit more time on the ball to express yourself. That's what I found when I played there anyway. And he'll make the most of that 100% because he's definitely got the ability. He's an athletic kid, he'll run all day long. And he knows where the back of the net is, which is quite important I mean, the games that I've watched him, he looks like he finishes the games up front on his own. He's like
up. He scored the other day, so
he's
just part of the movement, just to drift off the back of the centre half and then go in between them.
Yeah, Premiership centre half, and he's absolutely just done around the back stick, so it's a great header as well. So.
Yeah, he's a fair way out, he's still got a bit to do when he makes contact.
Yeah, for a little lad, he does head a nice ball, to be fair, so all the best to him, hopefully he does get that move and he makes the most of it, because these opportunities don't come around forever. So
that's it, it's a short career, really.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
But back to you, obviously that was the main purpose of the chat.
Yeah.
You sit 9th, long-time goal scoring list for Gills.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in some pretty illustrious company in terms of the club, like Cascarino, etc., Brian Yeo and that type of player. Now that you've left, maybe a chance to sort of sit back and reflect on it, how do you look back at your time at Gills now? Highs, lows, any regrets at all? Maybe 2015, 16?
Yeah, I mean, definitely not winning something or getting a playoffs. Or I know we got promoted from the League 2 season. I played a little part in that, which was obviously great. But I mean, the 4 years that I had after that, I definitely felt that the season that we were speaking about, we should have.
The one under Justin.
Yeah, the one under Justin. I think we did miss a trick there, like you say. Maybe we peaked too early or whatnot. But
it's a young squad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a young squad.
To be fair.
I just, like we said earlier, sometimes teams click and sometimes they don't. And if you judge the two squads with each other, you'd have picked the season after squad all day long with the experience, names and quality. But that's not what football's all about all the time. So
we lost key people to injury at key times as well.
Yeah.
So you missed most of it. Only come back for their back end and we're trying to play catch up. I think Daggy and Johnny were both done hamstrings in the last sort of 2 months of the season. We brought in the lad who's now at Wickham, didn't we? Adam the lad.
That's it.
And he came in and we thought he was a good player, but then I think we rushed Daggy back too quick and he weren't fully fit, trying to overcompensate and trying to play catch up, so to speak. And it's maybe if them two had stayed fit, you'd been fit all season. Maybe.
Yeah, you never know, but yeah, I think
if we held on at Wigan, it's all ifs and buts.
That's it. Like we said earlier, fine lines in it, football.
But as a whole, it was.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to leave when I left. It was more security the reason why I left Gillingham. We'd sort of agreed I was going to take a wage cut, which was fine with me. I was fine with that, but I wanted a 2-year contract.
So they wanted a wage cut and only a year.
And a year contract they offered me.
And then Wimbledon offered you.
Wimbledon offered me 2 years.
You got to look after.
And less money, so I didn't go with the money at all. I went with the security.
The reasons why you went.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, everyone can have their opinions on this or that, and I respect people having their opinions. That's fine. I did hear a couple of my mates saying, Gillingham fans saying you've left for the money. It is quite nice now that I can explain what actually happened. Didn't go for the money. I went to Wimbledon on less money than what I got offered.
With all due respect, I think at that kind of level, there can't be too much difference in money anyway. So when someone says it's not like you've left to go to Arsenal and United.
But in hindsight now, I only spent a year at Wimbledon. Enjoyed the year I had there. Great squad. Really enjoyed my time, but the travelling just killed me. So in hindsight, I could have maybe just done a year at Gillingham, but you learn by things. I might have earned another contract there, but that's football at the end of the day, you learn. But for me, the most important thing for me is my family.
Yeah, exactly.
And at the time, the 2-year contract was, at 30 years old, just going 31 was the most important thing. So I went with that begrudgingly. I did. It took me ages to decide. AD kept phoning me and I was like, can't you just give me 2 years? And it just wouldn't get sorted, so yeah.
But to be in a club like top 10 all-time goal scorers, that must be a good
feeling.
Like when you first joined the club, does that kind of thing go through your head?
Nah, definitely not. I mean, after I had that first season, when I come back, you start to get like 60, 70 goals, and people start going, look, you like. And I don't know what the standings was. You're saying that I was 9th, but in my head, I was thinking I'd love to get to 100 goals. I'd love to get 100 goals for a club. Would be quality, and I did feel that when I was leaving. I was thinking, I'm never going to be able to do that.
Because if you had that 2015-16 season fully fit, and if you
it wouldn't have been too far. What did I have?
81 or 82.
Yeah,
so if you played all that season, you might have nicked another 6, 8, 10.
That's it. Yeah.
And then if you've got a 2-year deal,
that's it. But that's like we said, it's all ifs and buts, and I don't regret going to Wimbledon because I enjoyed my time there, and it would be disrespectful for me to say that, but at the time I did want to stay at Gillingham, but just things didn't happen.
Leeds must do, didn't it?
Yeah.
Is that favourite goal?
Um,
I remember the Wolves one on the telly.
Yeah, that was the best feeling because they battered us really, didn't they? They were a good team. They were all over us. Nils made some great saves in the first half.
Who was the overhead kick against?
Walsall, yeah, that's got to be my best goal, I'd say.
One of my favourite ones, and it's a weird one. It was under Taylor, 3-2 at home and all.
Yeah, that's one that sticks out.
Yeah, like the side scissor kick past
Yeah.
the last kick of the game. Yeah.
Michael Doughty had been sent off, we were down the team, and I don't think we won home game for about 2 months.
Yeah, that was.
I broke the seat that day. Sorry, Mr. Scully, if you're watching.
Whenever you score a late goal and you know it's the winner, you can't beat that.
Yeah,
and that was the same with the Wolves one and with that one. 2 great feelings, but overall the best one is probably
Technically, it's got
the
to be
the Walsall one. Yeah, definitely.
As Matt said at the start, you're back with Ebbsfleet now.
Yeah.
Linking up with Kedwell again, you've scored 3 in the last 6, and
Yeah.
I think, if I'm right in saying that you're top of the form table in the National League at the moment. You've picked up quite a bit, so what are the aims for Ebbsfleet from now to the end of the season?
It's got to be promotion now, I think. Like I said earlier at the start of it, there's always this team that makes a late little charge. I mean, it's not late, it's only Christmas, but we've set the standards now. Over this Christmas, it's a grueling little spell over Christmas when you've got I think we've got a squad of 16 or 17, we haven't got a massive squad, so everyone's involved in every game, and I think we've just played 5 games in 14 days, I think, or 15 days. A game every 3, maximum 4, yeah. So it's been a grueling little period, and we've come through it getting 10 points out of 15, and I think we're the only team in the league to have done that.
Yeah.
So we're in a good place at the minute. It's down to us now to just keep performing. I think other teams know what we're about now, and sometimes that can be a good thing, sometimes that can be a bad thing, but we'll take it on our stride, and we've got a weekend off this weekend. We haven't got a game, we're out of the FA Trophy, so it gives us a little time to recover, have a little rest, have a little break, and prepare well for our next game against Orient, which is going to be tough.
Bit of a crazy game the other day as well with Chesterfield away.
Yeah, never been involved in anything like that, to be honest. I don't think I've ever been in a game where you're 3-0 up at half time and you draw 3-3, but it wasn't only that, it was the other circumstances that surrounded it.
So the centre half scored the equaliser and then went in and goal and saved the penalty, is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
It was Nathan Ashmore almost had a fight with a fan who jumped on him in the goal.
Yeah, it was honestly
it was about it was being funny.
It was
don't celebrate with your own players, don't go and jump on the opposing keeper.
Yeah, like the referee, to be fair to us, we had a lady referee and she was brilliant the whole game. I went clean through after about 15-20 minutes. Geezers wiped me out, and I thought it was a red card, and I didn't give a stick, but I said, you've got that wrong, it's a red card. I'm clean through on goal, set myself, have a shot. Look back at it today, it's not a red card, the defender's covering, she's got it spot on, and I thought she
goes back to what you say about
yeah,
stuff
exactly,
you don't get the same perspective when you're involved on the
pitch. So looking back on it today, where I thought I'd set myself to have my shot, the defender possibly might have got there. I might have got there just before him, but it wasn't enough to say yes, it's a clear red card.
Yeah.
So I think she deserves a little bit of credit as well for the way she handled the situation at the end, and the other end as well, because what had surrounded it, we went up the other end and got a penalty, and it was one of them where she could have given it. So yeah, credit where it's due.
Yeah, definitely. I would say because it's still a very male-dominated sport.
Yeah,
so
it is.
It's likely is that women are getting more coverage and the women's England team are doing well and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah,
it's good to see.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It was quite refreshing to see actually, and she didn't take no stick either. She'd give it back. She'd give as good as what she got. So fair play to her. Yeah, it was good.
Right. That's a serious question out of the way.
Go on then, what you got for me?
You've got 6 silly ones just
We've
before we
got to
finish up.
scrap the Jake or Andy Hess one now, haven't we?
No, because we still do that because he still played with and underneath one, doesn't he? So just not underneath the one that was for him. Right, I'm just going to say the question. You just got to answer it off the cuff.
You're just doing what? 'Cause you've got
What is it? A one answer?
There's literally 5 stupid ones, and then we're going to do your favourite team.
Okay.
Right, number 1. There's a theme here. It's really toilet.
You'll pick up
But it's
really
good fun.
quite quickly.
Okay.
Name based.
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac or Return of the Mac.
Return of the Mac.
What do you order at McDonald's?
Big Mac.
Old McDonald or Ronald McDonald? Ronald McDonald, back to McDonald's and a Big Mac. Who's better, McDonald Trump or McDonald Duck?
McDonald Duck.
And having played under one and alongside the other, who's your favourite Essendon Tyler, Andy or Jake?
Andy. Sorry, Jake.
Right, and then a bit more serious to end on.
Yeah.
Your six-a-side team from former Gills teammates.
From former Gills teammates.
And it's six-a-side, and you can include yourself. That is the rules. Dacky kept changing the rules. It was five-a-side, then it was six-a-side.
So it's six-a-side. Have I got to include myself?
Don't have to, but you can be in it. But you're not allowed to bench. Dacky wanted six on the bench and all sorts, yeah.
Right, okay.
Dacky did put you in it, so I think just no pressure.
I've got Nelson goal.
Yep.
Centre halves. Adam Barrett.
Right.
I'll come back to the other one.
Right, okay.
Midfielders.
Four left still.
Matt Taylor. That's three.
Yep, so two defenders of Barrett and up next.
I'll go with Dacky.
Yep.
Josh Wright.
Yep. Got one left.
Keds and Bale up front. Oh no, it's six-a-side, isn't it?
And you've got five already, I think.
Oh.
Nels, Max, Adam Barrett, Dacky. Right. No one who changes the rules. Seven-a-side. Seven-a-side.
Just do you
Yeah, seven-a-side. There's a good seven. There's a good
It's
seven.
11 and we said that'd take too much time.
There's a good seven there.
The further into this week, we just get to work
I
on.
am
You on the
kids
bench.
up front, me on the bench.
There we go.
Super Solskjaer.
Super Solskjaer on the bench. Right. It's been a pleasure.
Top
Really
man.
enjoyed that.
Cheers.
Appreciate
No
your
worries,
time.
no worries. It's been good. Pleasure.
One message for the Gills fans before we go.
Stick with the team. I'm sure it will come good. I know some of you are probably a little bit disappointed at the minute, but it all comes good. It always does. Stick with them.
Right, Gills fans, as always, thanks for watching. Please keep doing the usual. Comment on below on YouTube, comment on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Keep subscribing, keep sharing. Until next time, up the Gills.